My brother turned our lives into a sick competition, so I gave him a trophy made of poison. My younger brother Peter has been copying me since we were kids, but not in the cute way where little brothers look up to their siblings. I mean the toxic kind, where everything I did, he had to do better. If I joined the basketball team, he'd join and somehow become captain. If I dated someone, he'd find someone hotter and parade them around family dinners. It started small in middle school. I saved up for a skateboard and Peter got our parents to buy him a professional one. I didn't mind much because I just wanted to cruise around the neighborhood, but by our 20s, his copying turned cruel. I got hired at a marketing firm making decent money. Peter applied to their biggest competitor and got hired at a higher salary. He made sure to mention it at every family gathering. When I bought my first car, a reliable Toyota, Peter leased a BMW the next week. He posted photos online saying, "Some people settle for less." The worst part was how our parents enabled him. They'd refinanced their house twice to cover his credit card debt. But somehow I was the bad influence for starting this competition. Things got even darker when I started dating Fillion, my girlfriend. We'd been together 2 years when Peter suddenly started dating her coworker. He'd show up at the same restaurants, the same movies, always sitting where we could see them. Fillion tried to laugh it off, but I could see it bothered her. But the real betrayal came right before our wedding. Fillion and I had finally set our wedding date after 2 years of engagement. We'd booked a historic mansion for next spring, and I'd been working with her grandmother's jeweler to create custom rings using stones from her family's heirloom necklace. But 3 weeks before our ceremony, Peter suddenly announced he'd bought a venue too. Not just any venue, but the mansion right next door to ours, and for the same exact date. That wasn't even the worst part. He'd somehow gotten into my email, found the photos of Fillion's custom ring design, and straight up stolen it. When the jeweler called me confused about the duplicate order, I felt sick. Fillion recognized her grandmother's design immediately and broke down sobbing. He stole my grandmother's legacy. That design was her gift to me. She said she couldn't wear a ring that would always remind her of what Peter had taken from us. That's when I decided to give Peter exactly what he wanted, a competition he couldn't win. I knew Peter was crazy enough to copy anything and everything, without even bothering to confirm that it was real. First, I began dropping hints that Fillion was pregnant. I'd refuse beer at family dinners and say I was being supportive. And wouldn't you know it, within a month, his wife Marie was suddenly pregnant too. Peter announced it like he'd won the lottery. Next came the financial trap. I found the perfect bait online, a rare vintage watch being sold by a desperate seller. The seller claimed it was worth $50,000, but would take $20,000 cash. In reality, it was a fake worth maybe $500. I showed him fake authentication papers and talked about famous people who owned the same model. Then, I regrettably announced that I couldn't get the money together in time. Someone else will probably buy it. I'll regret this forever. Peter took the bait immediately. He liquidated his savings and even borrowed from our parents. When he finally showed up to a family dinner wearing the watch, he couldn't stop grinning. "Remember that watch you couldn't afford? Turns out I had better connections. Maybe aim lower next time." The final phase was the hardest. I had to pretend my relationship was falling apart. Fillion was in on it, and we acted out fights in public places where Peter would see. I moved into a hotel for a week and made sure he knew. I started talking about divorce lawyers and splitting assets. 2 weeks later, Peter announced he was getting divorced. He'd already filed the papers. Marie was devastated and confused. She was 3 months pregnant and had no idea what was happening. But Peter was convinced he was winning some sick game only he was playing. The truth came out slowly. First, the watch appraiser told him his $50,000 investment was worthless. Then Marie's pregnancy became real while mine stayed fictional. His divorce went through while Fillion and I went on our honeymoon. Peter showed up at my door 6 months later. His hair was greasy and he'd lost weight. He told me how Marie had taken their son and moved back with her parents. He was living in a studio apartment and working 2 jobs to pay child support. Then he blamed me for everything. "I know you planned all of this. The pregnancy, the watch, the divorce. You set me up." I looked him straight in the eye and shrugged. "I have no idea what you mean. You made your own choices. I didn't force you to copy me." He left without another word. Our parents still blame me for his downfall. They say I should have been more careful knowing how he was, but I was done being careful. I was done watching him steal my life and make it a competition.